You're locked into Inception Radio Network, Superior, Wisconsin.
This is TruthFunders Radio on the Inception Radio Network, a weekly audio safari that features the newest in paranormal discoveries while highlighting the latest and not to be missed TruthFunder.com projects. For truth seekers and true believers, this week's TruthFunders starts now.
Greetings, bonjour, hola, welcome, and hello there to you. This is the TruthFunders live radio show on the Inception Radio Network. My name is Art Webb. Greetings, I am your host for this weekly look at TruthFunders.com and everything that is the paranormal, metaphysical, universal, and essentially good. It is everything about the light here. Thank you so much for tuning in. You can listen to the live version or the podcasted version of TruthFunders Radio by downloading the Inception Radio Network app. You can grab that sucker on the iTunes Store, or you can grab it from the Android Marketplace. Download that app, and then you can tune in every 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern time on Wednesday afternoon evenings, and listen to us live. Or you can, again, like I said, listen to the podcast, which I'm sure many of you are doing right now. Roku has it, or you can simply go to the Inception Radio Network website to listen live as well. As always, the CEO and founder of TruthFunders, Mark Schwartz, is here with me. And Mark, I feel like I'm saying hello to you for the first time God, dude, I was so sick. I was so sick. So sick.
Oh, dude, I know. It's like I hadn't talked to you. So first I get married, and then...
Yeah, first you get married. So you're right. And I believe that was, a month ago?
Yeah, I guess it's been like 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago I got married, but a week before that, you talked to Jesse Marcel, which was a really great show, by the way. I listened into that. Of course, I couldn't be there. I had to do wedding stuff because it was like 2 days away from the wedding. But I listened to the podcast version, and you guys got along swimmingly, as we like to say.
Who says that? No, hold on. Before you say anything, who says that?
Well, I think
who's the royal we even in that? You mean as you like to say? I think is really.
Well, I think as Cartman would say, everything was getting along swimmingly. Yes.
I've never seen a South Park episode where he has said that.
Dude,
in my life. I'm a huge fan.
Season
of South
3.
Park.
I will fight you on this. I will fight you on
fan
this.
Of South Park. I've never heard Eric Cartman say that before in my entire life. Mind you, I am usually stoned out of my mind if I'm watching South Park. So, my ability to recall these types of things may be somewhat jeopardized.
Hey, somebody out there...
I bet you're right.
Somebody out there in the chat line, go to YouTube and type in Cartman swimmingly. Find the link. I'm sure there's a clip on there somewhere. Copy that link, post it in the chat room so that Art can see exactly what I'm talking about.
I got to log into the chat room and do that first. Hello, everybody in the chat room. Thank you for being with us live.
I am in the chat room. I'm looking at all the fun people in the chat room right now.
Well, hold on. Let's continue. Let's jump through this real quick here. So, yeah, you were getting married, and then I, at the beginning of last week, came down with the stomach flu, and I debilitated me for like a week and some change.
2 weeks.
That.
2 weeks.
Almost 2 weeks.
Yeah, you were gone the past 2 weeks.
I was really down for about 7 days total, but in all like said and done, like it made me miss. No, it was about 9 days total, but it made me miss two weeks worth of shows.
Did you have a demon inside of you? Do you think that's what it was?
The stomach flu demon inside of me, and very little known fact about the stomach flu demon, it is so bothered by anything else being in your stomach while it's living in there that it just forces it out from whatever angle it can get it out. So it comes out of the front, it comes out of the back, it comes out. I had literally, dude, have you ever vomited from your ears before? I had shit coming out of my ears. Like, it was insane. So, yeah.
What was that old Campbell Soup commercial with the alien that says, like, if you talk where you speak, do you eat where you listen? Maybe you're too young for that. If you're in the chat room right
now, if you could go on YouTube and search old Campbell Soup commercial with an alien to prove to me that exists as well, I would be much obliged because I have
Oh my God, I'm totally going to find that. I'm totally putting that in the chat room and on our Facebook page.
So I'm back now, though, and I'm feeling much better, and I honestly could not even tell you who you had on. Oh, you had the Mythbusters guy on last week, yes?
Yeah. Duncan Clark was on last week. For all of those of you who may have missed last week's show, definitely check it out. It was great. We talked about drones. He also talked about the Mythbusters episode where blue ice was falling from the sky and people didn't know exactly what it was. And there was a myth going around that it was the toilet water from airplanes. And so...
That was a myth, though, right? There's no way that was real.
No, so it totally turns out to be real, but the FAA still won't say that that's what it is. But they did all the tests, and yeah, it could totally happen.
How were they able to predict where blue ice was going to be falling from the sky to do the tests?
They didn't have to go to where it was. They re-rigged the entire plane and how it works and all that stuff.
That makes sense.
Well, you'll have to go back and listen to how they did it. Specifically, if you go to the Inception Radio Network and listen to last week's show on TruthFunders, or go to Apple iTunes, it's there too. If you're an iTunes
I would suggest doing that after listening to this one, though. You should get through the rest of this one first, just because. Why interrupt? I mean, you're really going to go back and listen to that show and then come back to this one? You won't even remember what we were talking about by the time you get back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So speaking of this particular show, this is a special show. So every once in a while, and it is once in a blue moon, Art and I have a guest. We have a guest on every single week, and we talk about...
I was going to say, once in a blue moon, we have a guest. We always have a guest.
We always have a guest, but once in a blue moon, it's just Art and me. And what we like to do is open the lines to you, the callers. Anytime you guys want to call in about our conversation and what we're having tonight, you can go ahead and call in. The telephone number is 1-888-919-2355. Again, 888-919-2355. And we are going to be talking about a whole bunch of paranormal stuff that's going on in the news. We're going to be talking about the show TruthFunders, past guests that we've had on, and we are also going to be hopefully taking your calls. And we really, really want to hear you call in. I was telling Art we're going to have to bully people to call in. He said, you never get anything done by bullying.
Honestly, dude, if you really think about it, I don't know if I stand to agree with you on the whole bullying concept. And hear me out here, because one, I don't
bullying is bad.
It gets better, right? I mean, it gets better. But on the other hand, and really more so than the bullying is bad argument, I think that there are people on the internet who are so good at being trolls and so good at being bullies that it has very real negative, real world, impact, that we're not capable of being trolls that good on this show. We're just not. You and I are, in reality, are pretty nice people, and these people that are on the internet that are just assholes and bully everybody, we don't have the talent to bully people into calling into this show. We just aren't that good. We're not that good at being bullies.
That is very true. I've never really been a bully my entire life, I'd have to say.
I've never been a bully, and I've never been victimized of being a bully.
Oh, I have.
I've always fallen in the middle of
Okay, so in 5th grade, I got body slammed to the ground by Bucky Buck. That was the name, literally.
It was Lucky Buck?
No, Bucky. Bucky
Buck. Buck?
Yeah, that was the name of my bully when I was in elementary school.
Was he missing a front tooth as well?
I'm sure he was. He picked me up off the ground and body slammed me on the ground, and I was I was totally messed up from it. Yeah, Bucky Buck. This guy was so first of all, you don't name your kid Bucky Buck. Who names their kid Bucky Buck? You're asking for a bully. I later wrote a screenplay.
Did he ever just go by Buck? Because if it were me, I would just go by Buck. That's even better. Buck.
Bucky Buck, ready to kick some fucking buck.
So that your only victimization of bullying, or
no. Then let's move along, Art, down the chain.
Let's go down the timeline of.
Let's go down the timeline of being bullied.
By the way, you're married to a very attractive blonde woman now. I mean, Jesus,
she's gorgeous.
Mark and I both, we are married to, oddly enough, attractive women, and so it does get better, is what I'm saying. It gets better, right, Mark?
Yeah. Here's the thing. Okay, so what? So you're a nerd growing up, right? You're not even a nerd. You're just a regular kid. right? Growing up, doing your thing, you have the it used to be this way. I think it's changed. I think it's changed a little bit. And people, feel free to call in, break into this conversation with your own thought. 888-919
paranormal bullying. We're talking about paranormal bullying.
Paranormal bullying. So yeah, when I was in 8th grade, I moved to a new school, and I started dating this cute girl right away. And the dudes hated me for it. They hated it. And so the jocks would come running up to me and frickin' bully me. Yeah, that stuff went on.
I love how passionate you are about bullying. You never swear except for when you're talking about bullying.
Oh, well, just bullying is so stupid. But, there's been such a big change now with the way people treat each other. I don't know if bullying still exists the same way that it used to. Like, when I was a kid, bullying meant that I would be picked up and body slammed, or someone would punch me in the face, or there was that was like bullying. There was stuff where people would tease you a little, but that was just kind of, you could turn your head, not even worry about it.
Bullying still exists, absolutely. It's just evolved into something much more serious now. I mean, if you look at the It Gets Better campaign, that stemmed as a result of online bullying specifically, and kids taking their own lives as a result of it. It's a very serious epidemic right now.
Yes, cyberbullying. That's so crazy. I bet that most people listening right now, if you have a cyberbullying story, call in or know about anyone who is cyberbullied. I personally don't know anyone who is cyberbullied. I remember back in the days when AOL first started, we would make fake names and go in and kind of make fun of what was going on in the chat rooms. But as far as this is my Facebook identity and people are railing against me publicly, that's got to be tough for kids these days, I'd imagine.
I mean, it is. They take their own lives. There's been a lot. I mean, the suicide rate as a result of having been bullied has, I don't know the exact number or percentage, but it has grown significantly in the last 10, 15 years. It's a rough world for kids out there right now, because there seems to be no real... I mean, ultimately, this comes down to the argument of kids aren't having real childhoods anymore. The loss of innocence at a young age, it happens quicker and quicker and quicker. I mean, kids are expected to act like little adults. And as a result of that, they are treating each other very horribly in a lot of ways. But I don't know if this is necessarily a world I want to go down too deeply here on Truth Funders this week.
Yeah, Carol asks, whatever happened to Bucky Buck? And I will just have to answer that. I think Bucky Buck went Bucky goodbye. The last
he's
I
dead?
heard of him, no.
Oh.
He went away somewhere. I think he's working at he's probably not working. He's probably just out and about.
Bucky Buck works at the knockoff brand gas station. He doesn't even work at a Chevron or something. He works at
Chevron's cool. But he doesn't. Yeah, he works at
the one-off gas station that you see, the one you don't recognize the name of, that has gas for what is probably 20 cents cheaper than it should be because it's watered down. Anyway, you're listening to Truth Funders Radio here live on the Inception Radio Network. My name is Art Webb. I'm with Mark Schwartz. We are just kind of cutting it fast and loose this week. Open lines, 888-919-2355. 888-919-2355 is the telephone number. I really want to get into what the big news in sci-fi or what Jurassic World, dude. I mean, Jesus Christ, this thing is so huge, and it is such a phenomenon at this point. It's breaking records left and right, and it is perfect discussion material for this show. I would love to see somebody get on Truth Funders because they want to build a real Jurassic World, because they are saying that the technology now does exist to do this if we really wanted to do it. And it seems the world wants it because they have just been eating it up like crazy. I saw the movie. Did you see the movie?
I went to the movie the Thursday before it opened that Friday. I was the first person in the theater. I was wearing a dinosaur outfit.
No, you weren't. Why do you not take photos? These are the types of things that
I did take a picture.
Listeners demand. Why is it not on my Facebook feed right now? I want to see it now.
I will go ahead. I will, once we're done with Truth Funders.
You dressed up like a dinosaur and went and saw Jurassic World. I saw people seeing Jurassic World in Jurassic Park t-shirts. I saw nobody dressed up as actual dinosaurs.
Yeah. My wife and I dressed up as dinosaurs.
Oh
and we
my
went
God. We have to tell Alicia about this. I'm sorry. Okay, keep going.
So yeah, we dressed up as dinosaurs. We went into the theater. I thought it was going to be super booked. I mean, we're talking sneak peek, right? Jurassic Park. I remember when this thing came out, I was 13 years old, the original Jurassic Park. It lines around the block. In fact, I have, which I'm going to take some pictures and post this. I was so obsessed with the original Jurassic Park when it came out, and I was like 12 or 13. I created a scrapbook, and I'm holding that scrapbook in my hand right now. I have original articles that came out in the newspapers all about Jurassic Park. I mean, hundreds of stuff. I have Jurassic Park gummy dinosaurs in this thing. Jurassic Park trading cards.
You're one of my favorite people.
I'm looking at it right now. Here, listen to some of the titles back in 1992 when this came out. Here's some of the titles of the articles of the original Jurassic Park in the newspaper. Spielberg, not a bonehead about dinos. That's one. Jaws 2. That's another one. And a picture of a velociraptor.
How big is this scrapbook? How many articles do you think would you guess?
I have close to 70, I think, and it's also followed by articles from Last Action Hero, because that was the second CGI movie to ever come out. I have Jurassic Park, raptor eggs that are in here. I have the property of Jurassic Park French fries that came out from McDonald's that are in here.
Oh, I want this. How much do you want for this scrapbook? I'll pay you for it.
So yeah, there's tons of stuff in here. Jurassic Park, the evolution of a movie dinosaur. They talk about how they did it. There's pictures of people showing their tickets, moviegoers lining up to greet the Jurassic era. Packed theaters bring carnival atmosphere to the opening of Spielberg's eagerly awaited movie. Yeah, this stuff is like crazy. Spielberg, epic,
you know what though, man?
It's young fans.
It's a really, really neat thing that you did that, actually, because it goes to show how much things have changed in 14 years from when Jurassic World versus Jurassic Park came out. Every article now is an online digital article. I mean, there's probably less than 70 actual print articles written about it. Like, I mean, all of the information that was put out back then was done via print, and now, like, I mean, I've read article after article about the movie, and I could make a digital scrapbook if I wanted to, I guess, but to have that and be able to hold it and feel like how it's aged and all that, that's a really neat thing that you did. I was really, really looking forward to this movie as well. I've spent the last 2 or 3 years reading articles online, consuming everything that I could about this movie. I mean, I would visit the Reddit forum. By the way, the Jurassic Park Reddit forum is one of the best subreddits on Reddit, period. It's a great community of people and really, like, nice and all that. But following it crazy.
Check out this article. Okay, so Jurassic Park sets first weekend record. This is like the number one movie of all time when it came out. This was the first weekend the original Jurassic Park came out. This article reads, Jurassic Park sold more tickets in its opening weekend than any other modern film. Nearly 10 million admission for a first weekend haul of $50.2 million.
Oh my God, we've gone from 50.2 million to 500 million. Wow.
Isn't that crazy? That's how big inflation has happened over the course of the year, of 12 years or whatever.
I mean, it cost me $35 for 2 fucking movie tickets.
Now listen to this. So it also shows the top 10 box office movies that were out when the original Jurassic Park came out.
This should be fun. Okay.
So I wonder if you're gonna know what some of these are, Art. B, if you remember or saw any of them in the theater.
Number one. Go 10. Go top 10.
Okay, top 10. Number 10, Super Mario Brothers.
I mean, Disney. Yeah, I saw that in the theaters. Absolutely, it is to this day one of the weirdest things to have ever happened in cinema.
It is a weird movie. Do you remember that?
It holds up really well. It was, in context at its time, it was just kind of perceived as like, what the fuck was that? But it holds up really well as a very interesting take on the property.
Yeah, and now to rewatch it, it's actually kind of fun if you get a little Irie or whatever, have a couple beers. It's kind of a fun one to watch because it's just like so
goofy
and out there.
It's so goofy, but it was such a ambitious no way you could get that Super Mario Brothers movie made today. There's no way.
No way. John Leguizamo was like, didn't he play Luigi?
Yeah,
he did.
Was Bob Hoskins Mario? Wasn't Bob Hoskins Mario or no?
I'm not sure.
All right, number 9.
Okay, number 9, Sliver. I was in love with what's her name? What was her name in it?
I couldn't tell you what Sliver was.
She was the girl in Basic Instinct, wasn't she?
Sarah Michelle Gellar?
No. The chick from Basic Instinct. The hot one that opens... Okay, anyway.
What's her name? Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, number 8. All right.
Okay, and that made $2.4 million. Number 8, Hot Shots Part 2.
Oh, wow, Sheen. I've actually never seen Hot Shots 1 or 2.
Are you serious? Those are hilarious.
Yeah,
I saw both those in the theater. Number 7, and I saw this in the theater as well, Life with Mikey. And that
I remember that.
Michael J. Fox.
That. Yeah, I remember that. I never saw it, but I do remember it. All right, keep going.
Number 6, Menace to Society. That brought in $2.6 million at 540 locations.
Not Don't Be a Menace to South Central while drinking your juice in the hood.
No, that was the one that they made fun of Menace to Society with.
Right. I've seen the parody. I have not seen the original.
Dave. I don't think I remember Dave.
I remember Dave very vaguely. Very vaguely. I don't know what it is. Keep going.
All right. Guilty as Sin.
Got me on that one.
I don't know that one either. Made in America.
Is that the Eddie Murphy movie?
I don't know. I don't think so. That's Coming to America.
That's Coming to America. You're right.
Yeah.
Great. That's a good film. Is that number 2?
That's number 3. Number 2, Cliffhanger with a $7.6 million.
Oh, Stallone, man. That's Sly. I remember the trailer for that. He was hanging from a wire on a mountain. Totally remember.
Exactly. And the number 1 was, of course, Jurassic Park with $50.2 million.
$50 million.
That was just incredible money back then. And still incredible money.
And it did it all over again in 2015 with I can't do that kind of math, but it's $500 million that movie's made in a single weekend, which is insane.
So what do you think? Okay, so we know the science isn't legit anymore. I mean, it was based off of Michael Crichton stuff originally.
Well, no, that's the thing. I just watched something on the Discovery Channel that says the science is actually very real and palpable and could probably be achieved today if someone really set their heart on it.
Gosh, then we have to do a Truth Funders campaign specifically for that. Let's create some dinosaurs, people.
It is possible. I actually read an article yesterday online where somebody took the very real math and calculated how much it would cost to run an actual Jurassic World, and they broke it down like how much it would cost for the R&D and like development. It was astronomical numbers, but it was really funny.
How crazy was it? What did you think compared to the original Jurassic Park? Like, what were your thoughts?
Look, when the original Jurassic Park came out, like you said, I was just in the Goldilocks zone for age, and it just it captivated me and enchanted me and swept me off my feet in a way that probably won't ever be able to happen again. I loved the film. Look, big picture, I love the film. I love the clear passion that went into making it, and its heart was in the right place, and that is probably the most important part of like making that film, and it is being universally loved across the board. There are a couple things about it that to me felt, how do you say, hollow, or just kind of not really.
So FYI, we have a couple things happening in the chat room. High Rocket says "Made in America" with Jenny from the Block, and I wrote "lol," because I don't think that with Jennifer Lopez. It's because this is spelled MADE, Made in America, not MID. MAID.
Yeah, MAID. That was not 1993. That was like in the 2000s. Like that's 10 years after.
And that was called Made in Manhattan. Rachel Cords just let us know that. Rachel also said that Made in America has Whoopi Goldberg and Ted Danson. So I don't know that I ever saw that. I don't know if I ever saw those movies. But anyways, back to Jurassic Park. I don't want to get too ADD.
Yeah. So anyway, fascinating conversation going on in the chat room. Thank you for that. But I want to finish my thought on the fact that there were aspects of it that did seem very kind of lacking in terms of substance and story. Like there were some plot holes, and I didn't really like how it just jumped right into an operating Jurassic World. I would have really liked to have seen more of the building process and it coming together and the bridging of the gap between the two films, essentially. Do you know what I mean? Like, it would have been nice to see like it being the island being revisited by people coming in to redo it and all that. Like that, to me, it felt a little rushed from the get-go.
Yeah, like right? when they walk in and they find the the old place, and it's kind of an homage to the original '92 film.
Right. Yeah. I just there was exposition to the story that I felt like was a little rushed jumping into it. I would have liked to have seen like even an opening montage of like the new park coming together and its grand opening ceremonies, and you know what I mean, stuff like that. Like it just felt a little rushed jumping into it. Other than that said, it's a super
the
fun
dino
movie.
battles. If you're into dino battles, people, you definitely have to see Jurassic Park because the dino battles were epic.
Look, I want to know if there's anybody listening to this right now who has not seen the film, because I'd be surprised if they haven't. The community and the audience for Inception Radio and Truth Funders, they were there opening weekend as well. There's just no way they weren't. Is there anybody that has not seen this film yet? Call us and tell us why, because I don't see how that's possible. 888-919-2355. We got to take a break. It's 1:30 the hour. You're listening to Truth Funders Radio here live on the Inception Radio Network. My name is Art Webb. I am with Mark Schwartz. We're just
call us during the break.
Yeah, call us during the break. We're shooting it's open lines here. We don't have a guest this week, and we're just talking about whatever Mark and I talk about, because it seems we have endless list of things to talk about. Right now it's Jurassic World. 888-919-2355. We will be this after back here live on the Inception Radio Network. You're listening to Truth Funders Radio.
Truth Funders Radio on the Inception Radio Network.
Truth Funders was started as a place to shine a spotlight on paranormal projects. Other big-name crowdfunding sites vary paranormal projects that contain UFO, ghosts, Bigfoot, research, documentaries, books, clothes, movies, and more. At Truth Funders, we invite people to not just listen to our show, but interact and do something about it. You can create a project. Yes, you, listening to the radio right now, you can make a difference. Stop dreaming and take action at www.truthfunders.com. Click Create a Project and submit your idea, or browse the other paranormal initiatives that other brave souls have put their energy into. Support them as they reach into their creative spirit and turn their passion into progress. Each donation you will make, you will receive something in return, from a book to a DVD to a Roswell I-beam and plenty more. You don't have the scratch to donate? Fine, share anywhere you can, from Facebook to Twitter, or blog about it. That's free, and it helps support a community of people that not only want but need to get the word out. We are not alone. We are a community. We need to believe in each other as much as we believe that there's more to life than meets the eye. Help support a project on Truth Funders, or create your own today at www.truthfunders.com.
Hello, everyone. Lorian Fenton here, host of the California MUFON radio show, asking if you'd like special access to exclusive and amazing information about UFOs, the paranormal, and all things unexplained. If you're nodding yes, then join IRN's Insider Club. As an Insider Club member, you'll get an all-access pass to premier Inception Radio Network content for only $4.99 a month. This includes live UFO and paranormal conferences, live streaming UFO skywatches, exclusive IRN radio and TV productions, and of course, paying radio with MJ and Ken Storch. So don't wait any longer. Visit InceptionRadioNetwork.com and click on Member Login to join IRN's Insider Club and get your VIP access today.
Don't have a computer? Is your internet connection down? Don't worry. Use your trusty cell phone or landline and call into our listen line at 401-283-6700 to listen to the Inception Radio Network 24/7. Again, that call-in number is 401-283-6700. For the Inception Radio Network, I am MJ.
Hello, Inception Radio Network listeners. This is Amanda. Remember, you can take your Inception Radio shows on the go. Just download the Inception Radio Network app for your iPhone, iPad, or Android smartphones and access live shows, past shows, guest lineups, and much more. Just visit the iTunes Store or the Google Play Marketplace and download it today for free. You didn't forget what's coming up tonight, did you? Hi, Inception Radio Network listeners. This is Amanda. Never miss that interview you were looking forward to or the show on your favorite topic. Follow IRN on Twitter, I_R_N, and get reminders about the evening's live shows as well as fun and important updates throughout the week. That's I_R_N, and never miss a great show again.
listeners. This is MJ saying hello and sharing an awesome secret I discovered. It's called DreamNuage.com. Fresh, raw, organic ingredients are used to create all their products. They are made in very small batches to ensure quality and freshness. Handmade in the USA, each product is created with care and with the finest organic ingredients. There are no preservatives, dyes, or chemicals in any product. Stop by Dream Nuage and relax. That's DreamNuage.com. Simple, raw, organic. You're locked into Inception Radio Network, Superior, Wisconsin.
TruthFunders Radio on the Inception Radio Network.
That is right, Rich. My friend Rich. That's his voice, Rich Berner. Thanks for doing that, Rich. You're listening to the Inception Radio Network. My name is Art Webb, and I'm with Mark Schwartz. This is TruthFunders Radio. During the break, our good friend Spaceboy decided to give us a dial, and he joins us now. Hello, Spaceboy.
Hello, guys. How are y'all tonight?
Doing great. How are you doing, man? What's going on?
I am space-tastic tonight. I just got home from working out, and I was listening to you guys on the way home.
Do you work out in a zero-gravity gym?
Oh, I wish. Trust me, it would go a lot easier on me.
I mean, why can't we get zero gravity, like, recreation places going? Yeah, why is that a thing that we cannot seem to invent? I mean, we were promised hoverboards, we were promised flying cars, we were promised all these things by the future. Future's not delivering. I want to just go swim around in space. Like, why can we not have zero gravity establishments? Why can't we
give it half a chance? You probably might get that from somebody like Richard Branson. I could see him doing something like that.
Yeah, Elon Musk is, he seems much more practical, that Musk. He's into, like, cars and home batteries and frivolous shit like that. Like, I want to have fun.
Well, there is the article that I read last week on the air about Pornhub that's raising a campaign, a crowdfunding campaign to have the first porn filmed in space, which will... And they have see, that's the reaction I was looking for. Thank you.
And of course, I like how Mark last week was saying no affiliation with the TruthFunders raising thing, and that was, I mean, I was just laughing at that one too.
Wait a minute, they're really gonna film the first porn in space?
Yeah, but here's the thing: they're asking everyone who visits the site to give them $1. They have like 18. Wikipedia. They have 18 billion people that visit their site.
You know what? I don't visit Pornhub. I use other ones, but I'm gonna go to Pornhub and I'm gonna just give them $1 because I want to see the first porn. So that's such a massive event, like zero gravity porn. Imagine like the things that they can accomplish that you can't do where there's gravity.
Yeah, I've been wanting to know that since I was 12 years old. How that works.
Only on TruthFunders Radio, people. Only here.
So, Spaceboy, so what else? You felt compelled to call in? Was it our Jurassic Park conversation that we were having?
I was like yelling at the radio on the way home about, Art was talking about how it was kind of rushed and everything. I like the fact that the park was up, it was operational, because when we visit Jurassic Park, the first movie, you're getting everything's kind of coming together and they're putting everything in place and they're about to start taking visitors, but then you get this movie, Jurassic World, it's all kind of, it's happening,
I see what you mean. Yeah, go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, I have to agree. I have to agree with Spaceboy. I mean, that was part of the really exciting thing, like Disney World, right? You got Jurassic World, and one of the things I thought that it posed, and it didn't, really go into this a lot, which I think is probably best for this particular movie. But the fact that they created their own dino, so basically they create their own monster, right? They're just kind of like throwing a bunch of genetic crap into a test tube.
I believe the technical term is gobbledygook.
Exactly.
Well, I love the spoiler for that dinosaur. I won't go into it because I don't want to give it away for anything. But when they finally tell you what is the extra stuff in it, you go, "Oh my God! I can't believe that they did that!" And it all kind of like the raptors are really cool in this movie. I really dig the
what they did with the raptors.
Movie. And yes. But when you find out about the dino and everything.
The one scene where he's on the motorcycle and then all the raptors are on the sides of him was just a little reminiscent to but way better than the fourth Indiana Jones movie where what's his name is swinging from the vines and all the apes are swinging with him. Shia LaBeouf.
He's like Voldemort around here. We just won't say his name. But the other kind of criticism I had with the film is that sometimes at points, I'm not saying for the majority of the film, but sometimes at points there were definite character flaws that just to me felt unfinished. I mean, the fact that Vincent D'Onofrio's character was such a one-sided, almost cartoonish version of a villain kind of irked me. He had zero human sensibilities whatsoever, and he couldn't fathom that you can't control dinosaurs. That to me was crazy. You know what I mean? That just seems a little crazy to me. But
on that end, I agree with you, Art, because some of the characters could have been more fleshed out. But when it comes back to it, it's dinos.
Exactly.
So
that's the point I was.
Which we didn't actually get in the first Jurassic Park. I mean, the first Jurassic Park had a lot of dinos in it. But with this, this had everything, what people always said they wanted to see and never got, which was pterodactyls, right?
In
all the
except for in the third film when they had pterodactyls.
Right, yeah, but that wasn't a super big scene. This scene, the pterodactyls come out and they're some of them even have, I don't know if you guys caught it, they had T-Rex heads. Did you?
Yeah, I saw that.
Well, I saw that. That's a specific kind of dinosaur that did actually exist. I can't think of the name off the top of my head.
Really?
Pteranodon or something like that. But yeah, that was a very accurate dinosaur. Those did really exist.
But that whole scene where they come out of the cage, whew, I love that.
I love Jimmy Buffett in his cameo when he was singing that Margaritaville song. I thought that was pretty good.
That was funny. My main complaint about the movie is that it starts off painfully slow, and it just doesn't really start to kick in until 30-40 minutes into the film, where
I had the stomach flu when I saw it for the first time, so I'm not recalling everything as well as I probably would be able to. I was sick. I went to the stupid movie while I was still sick, so the pacing probably was a little slow, I suppose.
And another comment I got on this movie is that normally I don't go to 3D movies because I'm not a big fan of the 3D movie thing that they have going on.
I'm not a big fan of spending $100 on a movie, so that's
exactly. So I went. It was my wife and I went to this movie, and it was oh yeah, the regular movie showing, and it turned out to be the 3D showing. So we get in there, and I'm like, grumble. But movie kicks on. It was actually halfway decent in 3D.
Really? So you would say that
once the dinosaurs.
There was a difference. Enough so that you would say the 3D was actually a worthwhile upcharge.
Look, I'm the biggest critic when it comes to 3D, and if I say I enjoyed it, then there must have been something worthwhile watching this film.
Did you guys see Jurassic Park 1 in 3D when that came out about a year or two ago in the theater?
I missed it, and I was really bummed out that I did.
I saw it, and I thought it was phenomenal.
Did they redo it so it looked like this one?
Just the 3D was really well rendered, I thought. It wasn't as good as The Lion King, but it was very well done.
I did see when they brought back Nightmare Before Christmas in 3D, and that was pretty amazing.
Well, I hear those kind of movies work pretty good when you've got the CGI, animated ones like Nightmare Before Christmas. Works great in 3D. Saw a Pixar movie, trying to remember which one it was, but it was phenomenal in 3D.
Yeah, the animated stuff when being re-released in 3D actually seems to work really well. The Lion King was just mind-blowingly good.
So quick question for you, Space Boy. What for the people out there that don't go see movies or don't watch TV? What's some of the latest paranormal news that you've listened to that has really caught your ear lately? Something that you think people should know about or should maybe hear about?
Well, the only thing that's been on my radar and it's kind of dissipating is those Kodak slides that were out and the discrepancies of whether they were real or not, and everybody fighting. Y'all were talking about trolls on the internet, about everybody fighting within the UFO community. Well, this is this, no, it's that, and it's been kind of sad. But I think that's kind of starting to dissipate and kind of go away. So I haven't really heard anything juicy, and I'm really looking for something good.
It's been kind of slow last month or so.
Yeah, it has.
Not a whole lot going on. One thing that I have been reading about more and more lately that I was going to bring up on this particular episode of the show that I would really love to get some opinion on, because nobody really seems to have any idea what's going on here, is the loud sonic booms that towns all across the United States are hearing happening just seemingly from nowhere in the sky. That I have not experienced this. I've watched YouTube video. Are you guys familiar with what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah. I've heard Linda talk about this too.
Yeah, this is Linda Moulton Howell's big thing that she's going on. You know, she's been doing a ton of research on lately, which are, for those of you listening that don't know about this, there has been these strange sonic booms and trumpet sounds coming from all over the world. And she thinks it might be something happening within the Earth's core, which is causing these sounds. But it's like really alarming. And if you go to YouTube, you can actually type in trumpet sounds or strange trumpet sounds, and you should be able to find a version. Do you have something that we can play?
I don't have anything we can play. I don't have the ability to play.
You two talk, and I will look for one so that we can play one.
Can you play it, and we'll be able to actually hear the audio? Because I don't have the ability.
I think I might be able to. So you guys talk amongst yourselves, and I'll find some
boss,
of this crazy
we'll do
stuff.
that. Thanks. Go find it. It is. It's terrifying, and I really kind of want to be in the position where I can experience this for myself, because I don't believe that any of the YouTube videos that have been posted probably do it justice, just how spooky it is, and it will go on for hours, and come on, it's unnatural. It's just unnatural and uncomfortable in such a way that. How, and I can understand that maybe it's something that has to do with the Earth, and that probably is the case. But what are your thoughts, Spaceboy?
Well, the videos are intriguing, and naturally I'm a skeptic at heart, but I like to, explore all the ideas that are out there.
And that's the thing. This is a very real thing. Like, this is actually happening, and there's proof that it's happening. And this is a true paranormal event that it could not be easily written off as just being like a hoax or something like that. It's happening everywhere.
Yeah, because when you see these YouTube videos, it's not like we've seen. I'm going to assume we've seen together many UFO related fakeries and put-ons and paranormals that hey, that's a great Photoshop, or that was a great sound effect. But this, when you listen to it, it makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up. And I don't get that very often when I hear or see something like this.
And that's how you know it's real. It's that sixth sensation. It's that ability to just feel something and know that something very legitimate is going on here that cannot be explained. I think that the humans at their core are very capable of differentiating between something that's bullshit and something that's not, in such a subconscious way that they don't actively know that they're doing it. But that little hair standing up on the back of your neck when you hear it, that's really like your gut instinct telling you that something is going on here that is not
yeah, most definitely
natural. And I just want, the speculation of what it could be, it runs rampant. There are some crazy theories out there, but to me, it seems like there's nothing.
Okay, I'm gonna play one. I'm gonna see if you guys.
Okay, let me finish my thought. It seems to me that there's nothing that is gonna be, whatever this is, however it is eventually explained, it's going to be wild. It can't be like a simple solution. It can't be something that goes, oh yeah, okay, I guess that makes sense. Whatever it is, it's gonna be something big.
All right, so I'm going to play this. Hopefully you guys can hear this. If you can't, whatever. I'll stop playing it and you guys can talk over it. But this guy is like freaking out when he's recording it on his iPhone. And then I'll go ahead and I'll play this. I'll put it in the chat room afterwards. But let's see if you can hear this. It starts off really low.
What on earth? I hear music. All I hear is...
All right. So I'll just kind of leave it at that.
I was going to say real quick on that. I've seen that one, and what it reminds me of, Art and Mark, is have you ever seen those long tubes that when you would, I guess they would have kids where they would kind of rotate them in a circular fashion, and then as they would go along, it would catch the wind, and as the faster you would twirl the item, it would make a certain pitch, and then it would go up.
Change the sound. I've seen stand-up comedians use these things on cruise ships, actually. Was the last time I saw.
And that's what that sound reminds me of, is when I've seen that video, and then I've heard somebody kind of discuss that it's the wind blowing between the buildings, creating the sound effect. But to me, it sounds like that plastic doohickey toy that I've seen kids have, where the faster you move it, it pitches up an octave depending on the thing it goes.
And that's the thing too.
I can see that. I can hear that.
I can hear that too, and the level of difference between some of these is, I mean, Mark, you could bring up another video right now where it literally is just sonic booms. It's just loud, like crashing. So there are different levels of like noise that are being made as well. I do believe that it is probably naturally being caused as opposed to humans causing it through some sort of like testing or chemtrails or who God knows what. I mean, what do you think it's natural versus like man-made, or
let me go ahead and read this. This is on the USGS website, and probably Dr. David Schwartz would have been able to tell us about this when he was on, but Carol went ahead and posted this in the chat room. Earthquakes, booms, Seneca guns, and other sounds. Earthquake booms have been reported for a long time, and they tend to occur more in the northeastern U.S. and along the East Coast. Of course, most booms that people hear or experience are actually some type of cultural noise, some of the type of explosion or a large vehicle going by, or sometimes a sonic boom. But there have been many reports of booms that cannot be explained by man-made sources. No one knows for sure, but scientists speculate that these booms are probably small, shallow earthquakes that are too small to be recorded, but large enough to be felt by people nearby.
Bullshit. That's bullshit.
As it turns out, there are many factors that contribute to the sound that an earthquake makes. To begin to understand these factors, we have to understand the different types of waves, the speed they travel through the earth, and the speed that sound travels through the air.
But it's not earthquakes. It can't be earthquakes.
No? It can't be?
Why not? I don't think it's earthquake. I think it's not tectonic plates moving. It's something that the Earth is doing, but I don't believe that it's tectonic plates shifting. Because when do large earthquake happens and you also hear those noises?
I don't think I've heard those noises.
That's what I'm saying. So how can little ones make noises but big ones can't?
Well, because I was going to say, science? I mean, y'all are out in California. I mean, I'm sure y'all have experienced quakes out there.
Yes, I love them. I actually think they're fun. When an earthquake starts kicking, I'm like, all right, hey, earthquake. Let's ride.
I mean, do you hear something so massive?
No, never.
You usually hear a rumble. It sounds like a rumble.
Yeah, but you don't hear sounds coming from the sky like you do on these.
Like a sonic boom.
No, never, ever. So
I've heard cracks. Big cracks happen. Like crack.
Right. Well, but that's usually also because of like things being moved in terms of wherever your surroundings
buildings and stuff. Yeah,
exactly. Like that's very easily explainable. I just don't see how tiny little earthquakes that nobody feels are going to cause like window shaking noises to be coming from seemingly nowhere. That just doesn't make sense.
And don't you think that by now, over the many years in history, that there would have been more reports?
This would have been happening it would be just built into like as a thing that we come to expect, like hurricanes or tornadoes, just loud sounds coming from the sky from the earth shaking. Mm-hmm. It just doesn't start happening in the last like 5 or 10 years. Yeah, you're right. Thank you. That's another very good point.
So if anybody else has anything to say about this, go ahead and call TruthFunders Radio. The telephone number, Art, is 1-888.
I know the number. You don't need to tell me. It's 919-2355. 1-888-919-2355. That is for you, the listener. You need to know that. Call us here at TruthFunders Radio. I believe we can even have more than one person on at the time. Space Boy can continue on with us through the end of the segment, and then we can have somebody else come on too. It works very well for everyone. But yeah, and by the way, if you've experienced these sounds firsthand, definitely please do call because I got questions for you. So 888-919-2355. And who is it? You were saying Dr. Linda, what's her name?
Oh, Linda. You're talking about Linda Moulton Howell?
Dr. Linda Moulton Howell.
Yeah,
I don't think she's not a doctor. She's doctor
to me.
Oh, she is? Well, all right, Art. I guess you just made her a doctor.
Just Linda Moulton Howell. She was a reporter, news reporter. I think she won a few Emmys, local Emmys. for doing her investigative journalism. And then early in her career, she stumbled upon the cattle mutilations that were happening. And she did a bunch of reports on that, and they were really big reports. They did specials on NBC News about it. And then that sort of kind of took her from one thing to another thing, and she started following more about strange science and UFOs, and she's incredible. Actually, Spaceboy and I were talking a little bit about her last week. He said that at Contact in the Desert, she was one of the most incredible people that gave a talk. She has a great way. If you hear her on Coast to Coast, or you hear her on anybody, Jimmy Church's radio, like you kind of get lost in her stories because the interviews she does are so in depth.
Yeah, she's so captivating as a reporter and conveying the message of whatever story she's covering. But yeah, her big thing was the cattle mutilations is what she started off with. But she's grown to be so much more. And then as an individual person, meeting her face to face, she is the most down to earth, nicest. Will let you talk her ear off, and she's just a wonderful person. So yeah. Contact in the Desert with Linda was wonderful.
Yeah, I want to get her on the show. I really want to get her on TruthFunders Radio, and I also want her to create a project on TruthFunders, because I think that she does so much stuff and so much research. There's got to be a project that she would like to promote and put on TruthFunders to help raise some money, without a doubt.
TruthFunders, well, what can you do on there?
Let's see. You can go to www.truthfunders.com and you can take a look at all the different paranormal projects people have to offer right now. There's a couple of new projects that will be rolling in soon. And if you have an idea for a project that's paranormal and you want to raise some money for it, if you want to Truth Fund it, or kickstart it, if you will, you can just go to www.truthfunders, click on Create a Project, and let us know, what your project is about, and we will have one of our people get back to you as soon as possible and get the ball rolling to help you try to make your project a reality.
Yes, TruthFunders is a wonderful way to get your project funded, and like I said, I was very, very happy and proud to be a part of that project with you, Mark. And and like I've said, if you needed anything else, Spaceboy's your guy.
Yeah, well, we should do another project with you, Spaceboy, if you have another song in mind or something. I mean, you went ahead and your project got fully funded.
Hello?
What was that? Hey, how you doing? Did you drop off? Hello?
I think Art just dropped off again.
Oh, well, there he is. So what was that process like for you? Was it hard? I mean, you really did put a lot of work into it in order to get people to donate. It's not just like you put it up there and it magically happens.
No, it's not like, it's an involvement. It's a commitment, and you just can't just, even though you got an idea, it's your baby, it's your thing. You've got to work it, you got to sell it, and I was very committed to getting the word out, because like I've told you before, when I first heard about TruthFunders, I was very like, hey, I really believe in this. It's a great product, and I really want to get behind this. And then I struggled for a little bit to figure out what would be a best fit to do a project. And I thought, well, I'll just commit some music to this project and just put the full weight of Spaceboy behind it and got people involved. And there you go, 100% funded there.
Yeah, we got to get it. We should add your song, if you'd like, somehow to like the outro of our show. Just have it be like the honorary song that closes us out every week. That would be cool.
Well, I have no problems with that.
Put the word out. Like to thank Spaceboy. So, and you've also created a whole bunch of other music for other shows out there. What other shows have you done songs for? And what was that process? Did people reach out to you? Did you already know who they were?
Well, it's kind of like as I've come along and got to know people, I managed to touch base with the Burns and with their show. And I had been talking to Nancy Burns on Twitter and said, I'm really inspired by your show and I want to create something. And sure enough, I created a song and they liked it a lot. And then There was another show on their channel there that I got involved with the host of that show, and he really liked all my music, so I sent him a copy of all my music, and he would play pretty much cuts from different parts of the thing. So it kind of grew from there, and then I've gotten to know other people out there in the community, and it just comes as I get inspired. There's been other shows where like Q Science on another channel that I'm pretty invested in, that Jill Hansen, great person, and she inspired me with another song. And a lot of this music, you can catch it on my SoundCloud account, but you can get there by going to my website, spaceboymusic.com, and that will direct you to all the good stuff that's out there in the Spaceboy universe.
Awesome. Very cool. Yeah, and your stuff is great. I mean, I can jam to it any time. It's on Spotify, too, for all of those people that are listening. Maybe I shouldn't have said that, but I don't know. Maybe you see residuals off Spotify.
Well, it's all out there. If you can name it, it's out there. Google Play, iTunes. I mean, you name it, spin the wheel. There it is. Spaceboy's in your face.
Awesome. And I think we're about to take a break, unless Art's back. Art, are you back? All right. Well, with that, we're going to go ahead and take a break here on TruthFunders Radio. If you have calls, next we'd like to talk about alien abductions and strange sightings in the sky. So stay tuned for that, and we'll be right back here on TruthFunders Radio.
TruthFunders Radio on the Inception Radio Network.
TruthFunders was started as a place to shine a spotlight on paranormal projects. Other big-name crowdfunding sites vary paranormal projects that contain UFO, ghosts, Bigfoot, research, documentaries, books, clothes, movies, and more. At TruthFunders, we invite people to not just listen to our show, but interact and do something about it. You can create a project. Yes, you, listening to the radio right now, you can make a difference. Stop dreaming and take action at www.truthfunders.com. Click Create a Project and submit your idea, or browse the other paranormal initiatives that other brave souls have put their energy into. Support them as they reach into their creative spirit and turn their passion into progress. Each donation you will make, you will receive something in return, from a book to a DVD to a Roswell I-beam and plenty more. You don't have the scratch to donate? Fine. Share it anywhere you can, from Facebook to Twitter, or blog about it. That's free, and it helps support a community of people that not only want but need to get the word out. We are not alone. We are a community. We need to believe in each other as much as we believe that there's more to life than meets the eye. Help support a project on TruthFunders, or create your own today at www.truthfunders.com.
Hello, everyone. Lorian Fenton here, host of the California MUFON radio show, asking if you'd like special access to exclusive and amazing information about UFOs, the paranormal, and all things unexplained. If you're nodding yes, then join IRN's Insider Club. As an Insider Club member, you'll get an all-access pass to premier Inception Radio Network content for only $4.99 a month. This includes live UFO and paranormal conferences, live streaming UFO skywatches, exclusive IRN radio and TV productions, and of course, paying radio with MJ and Ken Storch. So don't wait any longer. Visit InceptionRadioNetwork.com and click on Member Login to join IRN's Insider Club and get your VIP access today.
Don't have a computer? Is your internet connection down? Don't worry. Use your trusty cell phone or landline and call into our listen line at 401-283-6700 to listen to the Inception Radio Network 24/7. Again, that call-in number is 401-283-6700. For the Inception Radio Network, I am MJ.
Hello, Inception Radio Network listeners. This is Amanda. Remember, you can take your Inception Radio shows on the go. Just download the Inception Radio Network app for your iPhone, iPad, or Android smartphones and access live shows, past shows, guest lineups, and much more. Just visit the iTunes Store or the Google Play Marketplace and download it today for free. You didn't forget what's coming up tonight, did you? Hi, Hi, Inception Radio Network listeners. This is Amanda. Never miss that interview you were looking forward to or the show on your favorite topic. Follow IRN on Twitter, I_R_N, and get reminders about the evening's live shows as well as fun and important updates throughout the week. That's I_R_N, and never miss a great show again.
Listeners, this is MJ saying hello and sharing an awesome secret I discovered. It's called DreamNuage.com. Fresh, raw, organic ingredients are used to create all their products. They are made in very small batches to ensure quality and freshness. Handmade in the USA, each product is created with care and with the finest organic ingredients. There are no preservatives, dyes, or chemicals in any product. Stop by Dream Nuage and relax. That's DreamNuage.com. Simple, raw, organic.
You're locked into Inception Radio Network, Superior, Wisconsin.
TruthFunders Radio on the Inception Radio Network.
This is the Inception Radio Network. You're listening to TruthFunders Radio. That's not what I was expecting in any way, shape, or form. Very well played, my friend. Very, very well done. My name is Art Webb. I'm with Mark Schwartz and our sound effect department. I asked for a breaking news sounder to play coming back into the show here because we have some breaking news to report on. And that was good. That was good. Very well done. Breaking news here on the Inception Radio Network. Did you know, Mark Schwartz, this is just coming out of Hollywood right now. Move over, Mr. Hamilton. The Treasury is going to put a woman on the $10 bill.
Was Hamilton on the 10 or was Hamilton?
Alexander Hamilton was on the $10 bill. Pull out a $10 bill if you have one. That's who's currently.
No one uses them anymore because of inflation.
But it costs. Yeah, remember when it used to cost under $10 to get into a movie? But no, they're going to put a woman on the new $10 bill. Now,
who's the woman?
Let's play a game of guessing here, Mark. If you had to guess who they were going to put on the new $10 bill, give me 3 names that you might believe would be that person.
Rosa Parks.
Okay, that's a good guess. Keep going.
Let's see. I would have
typically
to say
remember
George Washington's wife.
All people who are currently on any sort of United States currency have been former presidents, except for I believe Jefferson. But historical, political. So while somebody like a Rosa Parks is a good guess, I would probably bet that it's going to lean someone in the more historical. Well, I don't know. Keep going. I'm not saying it's not Rosa Parks. Keep going.
Harriet Tubman.
Keep going. 2 more names.
Okay, I got one more. Okay. Kennedy.
Jackie Kennedy?
Jackie O.
Okay, well, your guess, all 3 of those names would be correct. They don't know who it's going to be yet.
That's not breaking news.
A woman will appear on the $10 bill beginning in 2020, the Treasury Department said today. Just which woman is up to you. Legally, the decision belongs to Jack Lew, but the Treasury Secretary said he's seeking public input on which female historical figure should appear on the U.S. paper currency for the first time in 119 years. The quote is, "We're going to spend a lot of time this summer listening to people, so we're all going to have a say in who the woman on the new $10 bill is going to be."
You know what?
It's just going to be a woman. I think
we're not going to have a say.
We're not going to have any say. It should be goddamn.
No one's going to listen to us.
Who's the dude just became a woman? Jenner, Caitlyn Jenner. That's who it should.
Oh yeah, Caitlyn Jenner should be on the $10 bill. Absolutely.
Because she's a woman, so she qualifies. But that's kind of interesting. They're gonna go for an online poll, and whatever it's gonna be like the chips. We just voted every Lay's they put out new chip flavors, and America votes.
Rachel guessed Helen Keller or Susan B. Anthony.
Susan B. Anthony already appears on coinage, I believe.
Yeah, she is on coinage.
Sacagawea is currently on the $1 coin.
I love that coin. It's such a pretty coin.
I think Rosa Parks is actually a very good guess. I think Rosa Parks is actually probably someone that could be in the top 5. I don't know. But there's a lot of historical women that we might not necessarily immediately jump to as well, though. I can't come up with any.
Who do you think should be on the new $10 bill? Go ahead and give us a call. We'd love to hear from you at 888-919-2355. That's 888-919-2355 on this Open Lines edition of TruthFunders Radio. This is once in a blue moon, you guys. We don't do this very often at all, but this is like hey, let's kind of play it loose today and have people call in. So go ahead and give us a call. Who do you think?
Paris Hilton. It should be Paris Hilton.
Okay, well, I'm going to say Paris Hilton unless anybody calls in. Nobody else calls in, then it's going to be Paris Hilton, always.
She's like American royalty, that Paris Hilton. Kim Kardashian. Kim Kardashian is going to be on the new $10 bill.
Even better. Kim Kardashian. Let's put her on money, because that's what we need.
Well, I mean,
didn't she get into like a credit card scandal because she was they had a Kardashian's credit card with an interest rate of like 29.9%, and then all these like girls, little girls, like young 16, 18-year-olds wanted a credit card, so they got the Kardashian card, and then they got stuck with these like horrible interest rates. Didn't that happen?
Wouldn't surprise me. I've not heard anything about that, but it would not surprise me. All right, so anyway, 888-919-2355 is the telephone number to get in touch with Mark and I here at Truth Funders Radio. We got about 20 minutes left in this week's episode of the show.
Yeah, so let's get back onto the paranormal and a specific thing that's coming up about Art Bell. I'm going to let you introduce that.
This is one thing that I did want to mention on the show. Art Bell is coming back again on July 20th. He has a brand new show. And USA Today wrote a big article about it. And it's really kind of a big deal that USA Today, I mean, that is the most widely circulated U.S. newspaper, would write about somebody that I don't think anybody under 30 even knows who the hell he is. You know, I mean, in 2015, who truly that's young knows who Art Bell is? I'm sure there's some kids left, but not a whole lot. But it is a big deal that he's coming back, and it is a big deal that they wrote this article. I'm going to read just a little bit of it for you here. Sadly, Art retired in 2010. Coast to Coast has never been the same, and except for a brief return on Sirius XM 2 years ago, which I listened to every episode of that, he hasn't been on the airwaves. Nevertheless, at 70 years old, Art Bell is coming back, only this time he has ditched all corporate gigs and is instead doing it in his own terms on his own way, or doing it his own way on his own terms. I'm dyslexic. Starting July 20th, Art returns to the airwaves on his new show, Midnight in the Desert, streaming live over the internet using the TuneIn app and on the digital Dark Matter network. A longtime friend and webmaster of his, Keith Rowland, recently said, "If there's anything I've learned, it's that I want to do this myself. I had the most fun in my life before my old show was purchased by Clear Channel." I guess this is Art speaking through Keith. I don't know. Winging it, just trying new things. It was a blast, and that's what we're going to be doing with this new show. Lots of fun and new things. So Art Bell is coming back July 20th. Huge news on the paranormal front. There's nobody that Art is going to be able to be upset with and just like walk out on except for himself this time. So hopefully this show will stay around for some time. But the fact that USA Today is talking about the paranormal and Art Bell is just a good sign for Truth Funders, for IRN, for everybody, period, I think.
Well, absolutely. I mean, internet radio is huge. And I am surprised that Art didn't do his due diligence in the first place, and why he went to XM radio. It just seems like some strange, hanky politics went out over there.
He's 70 years old. Look, I think the guy's 70 years old, and I think that he probably isn't as dialed into what the current movement is as somebody who might be a little bit younger would be, like you or I. And I just don't think he was really aware at that time when he signed on with Sirius XM that he had the ability to do such, honestly. Because he's an old school radio guy. The guy still operates ham radio. Like, he's a radio guy. That's
right. In fact, his show is going to be broadcast on ham radio as well as digital.
Did not know that. See, but that's the thing. I mean, Art is a radio guy through and through, and he took big issue with Sirius XM that he could not stream his show live for free and generate the amount of phone calls from listeners that he was accustomed to. And that really was the big issue at the end of the day with the Sirius XM stuff, is he just wasn't reaching enough people in terms of what he thought would be the reach.
But, here's the thing. SiriusXM, they really lost out. I mean, I think that actually hurt them quite a bit.
Oh, it did. They should have gotten right and just adhered to what he wanted, because all he wanted to do was have the show air live for free. Once it was done, you couldn't access it for podcasts. You couldn't just be able to hear the show live for free. And it would give people like a reason to maybe check out Sirius further, too. It was a horror. They fumbled it as a marketing ploy. Absolutely.
Without a doubt. And they Sirius, and here's the thing too. I think Coast to Coast went on in its place as sort of like an FU to Art Bell. XM was pissed at Art Bell, I think, and they put Coast to Coast on that channel. But Coast to Coast you can listen to live on the radio.
For free. Yeah,
for free thing. Every night.
It's
so it's
what
the same
the hell,
deal.
Guys? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, so if you ask me, a lot of people say George Snorri Nori, he's boring, yada yada. I am a Coast insider, so I do listen to Coast. I don't listen to every show because
but you don't listen to Coast for George Nori. You listen to Coast for the content and for the things that Art Bell established as what was being discussed on that show. And I don't care who you are, you cannot listen to Coast today and say that it was the same Coast that it was back then, even in terms of content and what's being discussed. It's such a more political show.
It's much more political. It's much more formulaic. There's a lot more advertising that's happened to it. There's like all sorts of stuff, like all over the board.
But you tuned into Art Bell's show. You didn't tune into Coast for that reason. When Art hosted it, you tuned into Coast to Coast for Art Bell. You don't tune into Coast to Coast for George Nori. You tune in to Coast for Art Bell because of what Art Bell did.
Right. That being said, I think George is doing some really cool things. Like one of the things that he's doing is he has his like little TV, his internet TV show that he's doing, which is really cool. And he just released paranormaldate.com, which is a fantastic idea. And like, I wish he would pick up on TruthFunders, because TruthFunders is another thing that, like, I even want to go up to Art Bell and say, hey, Art, George has paranormaldate.com. You should pick up truthfunders.com, because it's a great way to like reach out. If Paranormal Date is the match.com of the paranormal world, TruthFunders is the Kickstarter of the paranormal world. And it's awesome. And so I have to say I admire George Nori for doing all these other things. But as far as the show itself and content, sure, I think we all want to listen to, I'm curious to see what the new show will be and what it will bring. I think it's going
to be classic Art. I think it's going to be him discussing actual paranormal events in only such a way that the master can do it. I mean, he invented it. He is the Beatles of this type of product. There's no doubt about it. And even at 70 years old, it's only been a couple of years since the Sirius XM show, and those shows were phenomenal. I mean, they were great. And I think
you liked his XM shows? I
love the XM show. Other than when he was bitching about bitching, like, I thought it was great. And look, here's the deal with Art Bell. You're just going to get bitching. He's always bitched about like whatever it is that's irritating him at any given time. And that's part of the reason why you love to tune in to hear what he has to say, because he's just a passionate guy. And to me, I to this day will go back and even revisit some of those episodes on YouTube.
Yeah. So if you have thoughts or feelings about Art Bell, go ahead and give us a call. Call in 888-919-2355. That's 888-919-2355.
If we can't get a phone call for some discussing Art Bell, then there's no point in even doing this, because it is the one thing that everybody has who is listening to this show in common. Everybody has something probably to say about like Art Bell and him coming back. If you don't have a passionate opinion about that, what are you doing even listening to this?
Oh man, see, that's what I'm talking about, bullying people into calling in.
Yeah, but that's a good point. Actually, you're right. I did start bullying people. Really. 888-919-2355. Pick up that Skype line or telephone and dial. Art is a passionate subject of mine, and I really July 20th can't come quickly enough. I will be tuned in.
I'm curious, and I wonder, so also another thing that happened last time between the two shows is that I guess Coast to Coast was telling people they would look at who Art had booked.
Oh yeah, he stopped announcing who the guests were going to be.
Yeah, because Coast to Coast would take those guests.
Whole like Coast to Coast Art Bell rivalry is so childish at this point that it's like, come on, guys, just grow up. just grow up, and and even Sirius getting involved in putting Coast to Coast on in the time slot that Art had before he walked out, like it just all seems so childish to me. The whole thing,
right? And
like, can't we just all exist and get along?
And as a guest, like, let's say I'm a Bigfoot hunter and I've just discovered Bigfoot. I have to choose. I have to decide whether I'm going to go on to Coast or if I'm going to go on to Midnight in the Desert, because one of the hosts isn't going to have me if I go otherwise. And of course, Coast to Coast has a much bigger listenership right now because Art Bell's show isn't going to start yet for a while, and it's going to take some time to pick up steam, but it will, eventually. And so it's kind of like, it's ridiculous. You don't look at ABC News versus NBC
I was gonna
News,
say,
and
Fallon
neither one of them wants to
can coexist and like still get all the same people,
right?
Even though Colbert's not on yet, but you know what I mean. Like, all these late night shows can do it. Why can't radio late night shows do it? It seems very, and it is a personal subject. I know it's a personal subject for Art Bell. I know that he really, really despises what George Norrie has done with the show. I know he even more despises what Clear Channel and Premier Radio Networks has done with the show. And it's, for him, a very personal subject matter. To me, it's George's behavior that is the most irritating and frustrating, because George would not have the job that he has without Art Bell. And because he knows that it's an open and sore wound for Art Bell, he pours salt into it. And to me, that just seems unnecessary.
He does, on his show, he always talks so nicely about Art. But sometimes I wonder, like, is that a nice thing that he's saying, or is that a jab? I just can't tell.
And it's that hypocrisy that, to me, turns off my desire to listen to George Norrie, because that's just not the type of person I would be in that situation.
Regardless, but I mean, I like I said, I still listen to George Norrie, and I still listen to Art Bell. I listen to reruns, and I would love to be on Coast to Coast. I don't know if they would ever have us on or not, but I mean, it would be fantastic. You know why? Because the listenership is huge, and it's a way to tell
for TruthFunders,
what we're trying to do.
And it's a good thing to promote. I mean, TruthFunders is a solid product with a solid mission that could see a lot of help from something like Coast to Coast, and inversely, Coast to Coast could see help from TruthFunders at some point in the future for whatever reason. Business-wise, it makes a lot of sense, but on a personal level, from where I'm speaking from, that's where I'm coming from.
Yeah, and it's an interesting thing, and I can't wait to see where else this takes us. But one thing we do have to say is that everybody listening right now is listening because of Coast to Coast in the past, or Coast to Coast in the future, or Art's show in the future. People have been listening to Paranormal Radio. He's the one who broke it out of its shell and made it what it is today. I miss some of the people living in the trailer parks that would call into the show, or
JC.
JC. Hey, this is JC. I just want to say something. Yeah,
that had to be awesome. A bit. There's no way JC was a real caller.
It's a total bit. They did a ton of bits on Art's show. I mean, that a lot of it was pure bit.
TruthFunders Radio. My name is Art Webb. I'm with Mark Schwartz. 888-919-2355 is the telephone number here at TruthFunders Radio. We got about 5-6 minutes left here in the show. Mark, are there any any plugs you want to do for current projects going on TruthFunders that we probably need to update the audience on?
Yeah, sure. I'd love to. So you can go ahead and go to truthfunders.com right now if you'd like. We are always looking for donations for the projects that are going on. We're going to be doing some big updates. There's a couple days left on a few projects. One thing I really want to talk to people to donate to is the book for E.T. Contact in the French Quarter, A Couple's Journey of High Strangeness. We had them on our radio show. And
Chad and Alta.
That was a two-parter. If you didn't get a chance to listen to that, please go back and check it out. We also had Eli from the Truth Squad podcast. He's still, we're
going to be on his show too, right? At some point.
At some point, yeah. We're going to try to raise some money for him and get his podcast sounding like ultra stellar. So you can go there and you could donate to his podcast as well. I mean, it's really worth it. You're really helping people out in the paranormal world if you do that. And another one is Eric Williams, who is now Professor Eric Williams, and he has his own show on Inception Radio Network, and it's psychology of the mind. It's a fantastic show, and he has a project on TruthFunders, which is ESP plus science equals evidence, where he is investigating different variables of ESP, and he's already raised $190. I think his goal is like $1,000 or $1,200. So with your help, if you go there and you donate $5, $10, $25, you could get your own set of Zener cards. So you can you're doing a donation to a really, really good cause, and at the same time you're getting something in return. So you'll receive a pack of these Zener cards, and you could test people. You could test yourself for ESP. You can do all sorts of things. There'll be T-shirts that you can have. Other projects. We've had Jesse Marcel on the show a few times now, and Jesse's project is really incredible, the Roswell I-beam, and I'm surprised that has not taken off more the way it should have, because this is truly your chance to own a piece of Roswell history, and you can go ahead and you can click on that. There's 43 days left in that campaign, you guys. Only 43 days to make it happen. So if you've donated money, tell your friends to donate money to that one, because it's awesome. He's raised $205. I think they're trying to raise it.
But Jesse's an awesome dude. I mean, like, the conversation that him and I had recently when you were out doing wedding stuff was a really great episode. I mean, we covered a lot of stuff, and he's a very knowledgeable guy, and all of his projects are worthwhile. So because of that as well, like, donate.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's a whole bunch of projects that really need your guys' help. And if you could just take the time, I mean, $5 is a cup of coffee at Starbucks. And I say that, but I mean it. I mean, and it really helps out. It's going to a good cause. And you do get stuff in return. For every donation that you give to anybody's project, you're making TruthFunders a success, you're making the project a success, and you're getting stuff like in the mail, like really cool things, from books to T-shirts to DVDs to Roswell I-beams. I mean, it's all coming back.
Think about it. You donate $5 and you get the sensation of getting something in the mail that you actually want, which to me is a pretty priceless experience. You know, when you show up and there's like a package on your doorstep and you're like, package, what did I get? That's worth $5 in and of itself.
It is. I do that with Mad Magazines too. And you know, I've donated to all these projects as well. So it's not just like, it's not like we're creating something, and they're not TruthFunders projects. We vet them. We make sure that they're okay, that they're not scandalous, that it's not people trying to take your money. We vet them to make sure that they're really good projects and that they're really good people that are creating them. The paranormal genre really needs your help. And you listening more than anybody, I'm sure you listen to all these shows all the time, and you never pay anything for them. Think about like cable. You pay $150 a month for cable, and you watch some shows, crappy shows. Like $5 of that can actually go to a real person, and you could probably get in touch with that person too about their project if you have questions about it. So we really are here to help serve you guys, and that's why we started TruthFunders, because there are a lot of projects out there, and it's just about getting the word out. So please help spread the word about this radio show, about www.truthfunders.com. Spread the word about projects that are particularly, like any particular project that's on there, and just get the word out in general. And Inception Radio as well. You know, let people know, hey, if you haven't listened to them, grab your friends' phones. That's what I do. I grab my friends' phones and I say, I'm going to put an awesome app on your phone. And I put on the Inception Radio app, and I say, here, you can listen to TruthFunders. This is an awesome show.
That's actually a really good idea.
Show. This is awesome.
Eric Williams by the way, there was a brand new show that started just before us today as well.
Yeah, the Ghostbuster Chicks, or the Ghost Chicks. I got to get the right title.
It's brand new. Nobody expects you to know it exactly.
Yes, it's brand new. I'm sure MJ knows. And I'm sure someone's going to let me know in the chat room right now. Let's see. If you're in the chat room, let me know about the new show that just went on right before us. And so that's about it. I guess that's it for me. You can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter. We announce whenever we have a brand new live show on. We'd really like to get a call from anyone out there. Like the very beginning of our show, just in the start, we got calls from all sorts of people. I know people are like quiet and they like to listen, but it's way more fun when you call in.
We are just so entertaining to listen to that they just don't feel like they could match up to how well you and I present engaging and fascinating.
Maybe we just stop talking.
Yeah, maybe we just shut the hell up. Just do an hour and a half of silence, because if that's what you want, that's what we'll do. And don't think I won't do it, because I will.
The Supernatural Girls. Thanks, Carol.
That's what it was. Supernatural Girls. I knew it was something girls. I knew it wasn't Ghost, because I know that's an upcoming guest that we have that you probably got confused. And we do. Next week we will have somebody on the show. I don't believe we have that exactly locked down who yet, but we will be exiting this particular version of Open Lines with no knowledge of when we might do this again. So a very rare Truth Funders episode of just Mark and I shooting the ass for an hour and a half, which we do so well, by the way. We're very easy for us to just turn on a microphone and start speaking. Nobody better I've ever worked with on the air than you, because it's so easy. You're listening to Truth Funders Radio, live on the Inception Radio Network. My name is Art Webb. I am with Mark Schwartz. We do this every Wednesday. It's Wednesday. Every Wednesday on the Inception Radio Network at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. Download their app, like Mark just said. Tune in live online. The Roku box has it. We're everywhere. You cannot escape Truth Funders. It's everywhere. And thank you so much for tuning in. We really do appreciate your patronage and your listening. I know that while many of you listen to us online, the vast majority of you listen to us after the fact on podcast, and we do appreciate you downloading and checking out the podcast as well. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I guess we'll be back next week unless you got anything else, Mark.
That's it for me. Adios, everybody.
All right, talk to y'all next week. Thank you so much for tuning in. Truth Funders Radio, like Seacrest says, out.
Truth Funders Radio on the Inception Radio Network.